News! And after 316 matches in just over 2 years, England and Australia have finally parted ways to allow other cricket to temporarily exist in the Ashes realm. In an appropriate ending to a frankly wonky summer's cricket, the final ODI featured a hopeless batting collapse and not much of interest thereafter. Australia won it, and everyone finally tottered off home to think about the wisdom of flogging a golden horse until it can lay no more eggs. 8 England players, of course, retired after their final tests in the 2013-14 debacle, but Australia looks set to fall disappointingly short of that benchmark in 2015. Currently, 16 of them have played their last tests in the series just finished. That does look set to change next time they... But the point is, some of them will never play again, with the retirements of Michael Clarke, Shane Watson, Chris Rogers again, and I'm just hearing that Chris Rogers has reconfirmed that he will have definitely been about to retire at the Oval Test. That is now all but confirmed. And last week, Brad Haddin, the batting cracks papering over hero of the 13-14 series, when he had the best batting series a wicketkeeper has ever had in the Ashes, but who since then has been statistically about as effective as a penguin, give or take. Mohammad Amir has been left out of the Pakistan squad for the tests against England, which, given the amount of first-class cricket he's played in the last 5 years, is news in the same way that England leaving Julius Caesar out of their squad is news. That's Julius Caesar, the 19th century cricketer, not Julius Caesar, the ancient Roman military conquest celeb and Assassination Monthly magazine's Victim of the Year for 44 BC. Actually, it's both. In fact, it's news in the same way that Pakistan leaving out Imran Khan would be news, which they both have and haven't. They've left out Imran Khan, selected Imran Khan, and called up Imran Khan for the T20 squad, from which they've omitted Imran Khan and Imran Khan. And in associate cricket, remember that? Still technically legal, but now largely driven underground. Netherlands skipper Peter Boren took 4 for 1 in 20 balls of unstoppable power dob to destroy Scotland and win a low-scoring Intercontinental Cup thriller in The Hague. Peter Boren. Peter Boren. Peter Boren. He's 31, he feels 51, and he looks 61. Not my words, the words of Peter Boren, now aged 32, but doesn't look a day older than 61.
So, Doc, that Ben Stokes obstructing the field dismissal a couple of weeks ago, what do you think of that?
Very unfair, Frederick. He was protecting himself.
Seriously? What, do you think the ball's going to ricochet off the stump and smack him right in the grumblers?
Well, it might have done. Or it could have hit a bee, which could then have gone on a vengeful, stinging rampage. We just don't know.
Did you ever get out in controversial circumstances?
I was never really out, Frederick. I just occasionally stopped batting voluntarily. The only opponent who ever genuinely got me out was a chap called, what was his name? Grimm something?
Graham?
No, Grimm. Reaper, that's it. T.G. Reaper in 1915. And even then he should have been no-balled because his elbow was beyond the 15-degree mark when he waggled his scythe about. Cheat.
2006 was the last time that Bangladesh hosted Australia. 2006 was the last time Bangladesh played test matches against Australia. In that test, Jason Gillespie made 200. That was before Justin Bieber was born, before, I don't know, Apple was born, before, I don't even know if Jesus was around. I mean, we're talking a long time ago. And in the interim period, Bangladesh have not been very good. They haven't gone around the world, beating people. Australia would have won most of those series had it any time they actually played each other. Instead, they haven't played each other. And now Australia has to play them when Bangladesh are actually getting quite good.
Well, yes, you'd have thought if there was ever a good time for Bangladesh to play Australia, then it would have been in the mid-1980s, or possibly the mid to late 1880s. But given that the next decade, ending in 80s, is still quite a long way away, now is on the next level of good times to play Australia. Obviously, a big transition in the post-Clarke era, injuries, players being rested, and as you say, Bangladesh on an upward curve, unbeaten in their last few test matches, aided by scheduling them during the monsoon season, admittedly, but they played some decent cricket over the last, over a recent period.
I'd say they dominated world monsoon cricket for the last little while. But it could be, Australia is in a position where they are resting players, they are completely changing their team. They've picked a guy that I'm not sure that most people in Australia can pronounce his name.
Fekete.
Bancroft, I meant, but
right,
okay, him too. And we are in a situation here where Bangladesh could have their greatest ever test victory coming right up. They're playing a team that doesn't play very good in the subcontinent. They're playing a team that's just fallen apart. And they're playing a team that's also resting some of its best players. That's a good time to play a team.
And also some of those other best players who are actually playing are presumably absolutely knackered. As they look knackered in the Ashes.
Yeah.
They're going to be even more knackered. Actually, I guess they've got a few days off, haven't they?
A lot of them look Fekete.
That's testify.
So, Frederick, what are you most looking forward to this winter?
Summer.
Sorry?
Summer, Doc. This summer, not winter.
Potato, potato. It's winter. You lot might call it summer in your stupid hemisphere, but it is in fact winter. Okay, I'll go first. Australia, New Zealand. Can't wait. And vice versa. 5 tests, 2 countries, only 1 winner. Or possibly 2 winners if they each win one of the 2 series.
Please let there be only 1 winner. Oh no, New Zealand are... They are now,
Say it, Fred.
New Zealand are... I can't do it.
Well then repeat after me, Frederick. New Zealand are...
New Zealand are...
Good at... cricket.
Hey, I can't believe I have to say this.
This could be their defining moment, Frederick.
I took 110 wickets at an average of 3.8 when I toured New Zealand. They can't have got that much better. There's nothing sacred in this universe anymore.
That was in 1878, Frederick.
That's not the point.
South Africa are in the middle of an era that if it was Australia, England or India, their fans will be running around pinching their nipples, smiling the whole time. Instead, South Africa just have only lost 2 of the last 30 series. They haven't lost away from home since 2006. That is before anyone knew what Taylor Swift was as a concept. That's how long ago that was. Essentially, this team, through a lot of draws, to be fair, have basically made themselves unbeatable away from home, virtually unbeatable at home, and they now deserve to be at least talked about as one of the greatest test eras that we've ever seen. But they're going to India. India have just won a series, played really well. There's every chance that India could beat them this time because South Africa isn't quite as good as they used to be.
Well, Jared, I think one of the big things in India's favour in this series is the fact that this series is not happening in England or Australia, where they seem to play almost heroically badly most of the time. Interesting times at Indian, without Ishant Sharma for being a very naughty boy. He's missing the first test, I believe. South Africa, as you say, in transition in the post-Smith, post-Callis. They've got Rabada waiting in the wings. Vernon Philander, phenomenal statistical start to his career, but decreasingly effective over the last year and a half. But Dale Steyn has taken more wickets in Asia than any other test bowler away from home. 90 wickets in 19 tests at an average of 22. He's been probably the greatest cricketer of the last 10 years. Him and Sangakkara, would you say? 10 years? This is a debate that could go on for literally years. But certainly the greatest bowler of his era by a ridiculous, probably more so than any other bowler has dominated an era. And he remains the absolute key to South Africa over the next few months and the series they've got coming up against India and England.
If they lose this test series, they could actually fade into history. No one will actually ever remember them other than the team that lost a lot of World Cups and had AB de Villiers.
And your next question, who or what is a Fekete? Is it A, the type of fruit that even freegans won't eat? Is it B, the plastic bit on the end of your shoelaces? Is it C, the noise you make when you try to stop swearing? Is it D, an onomatopoeic term for when a batsman plays on off his bat and his pad? Or is it E, a rare species of Norwegian wombat?
The final frontier for non-Asian teams is generally India. If you beat India, it's quite impressive. But the new final frontier seems to be the UAE. Pakistan are more at home at their non-home home than they ever were actually at home. They're brutal in the UAE. They feel almost unbeatable there. Have you been to cricket at the UAE?
Well, I have, Jared. I went to 2 days of cricket in the UAE in Dubai, Pakistan versus South Africa. I saw Pakistan looking far from unbeatable. They were bowled out for 99, and then Smith and de Villiers scored a mountain of runs. So I guess what England have to do, really, if they're to be competitive, is try and bowl Pakistan out for 99 and then score loads and loads of runs. I mean, that would be a good first step. Of course, last time England went there, things did not go overwhelmingly well. They bowled quite well and then batted as if they'd never really been allowed outside in their lives before. Bowled out for 72, chasing 144 or something to win. It was, I'm getting horrible flashbacks now to, dark times.
Did you feel like less of a man?
I think the entire nation felt like less of a man. In fact, I think the Queen shrunk by 2 inches in height during that series. That's how bad England's batting was.
Well, it's going to get worse now. You've got the might of Fawad Alam coming back, and Yasir Shah probably... Look, I don't want to go out on a limb here, but he's probably the greatest leg spinner you've seen in our lifetime.
Almost more so. Probably the greatest.
Well, that's probably not fair. You would have seen Bill O'Reilly, but for most of us who aren't quite as old as you,
right.
I mean, look, he's a really good bowler, and he should destroy England batsmen in UAE.
Yes.
There should be nothing left. There should just be puddles of English batsmen.
Yes, and last time England went there, we had a batting lineup featuring Strauss, Cook, Bell, Peterson. Highly experienced, top-class operators, and
they were puddles as well.
We melted like a dead zebra's ice cream. It was bad. So it's going to be a massive. I'm really looking forward to this series. I think
What's England's record in the UAE?
Well, we've only ever lost 1 series.
There you go.
So I mean, that's a lot of. That's only 1 defeated series we've ever had. I mean, out of 1. But that's not the point.
Fawad Alam.
Fawad Alam, back in the Pakistan Test squad, made 168 on debut in Sri Lanka in 2009, played 2 further tests, has never been picked again, despite averaging mid-50s in first-class cricket consistently, whilst other batsmen have just turned up with a plastic bat they've just been given for their birthdays and said, can I have a game, and they've been in the team. I mean, if we may exaggerate slightly, it'd be really interesting to see if after all these years of being flatly ignored, for whatever reason within the mysteries of Pakistan cricket, he can translate that first-class form into Test runs.